6 years ago, I uploaded the first episode of this series. I just quit my job and the premise was simple. I was going to track my progress as I went from being a uni student to hopefully achieving my dream of becoming a car journalist. That was quite a long journey, but along the way I do feel like I lived that dream, albeit for a very short period of time. But then life happened and my path changed slightly. Then 2 years ago I uploaded the last episode to the series and kind of concluded by saying I've not quite achieved my dream, but I'm happy. And I kind of left it at that. But as you can probably tell by the fact that I'm talking to you now and by the title of this video, things have changed again. So yeah, here's a quick rundown on what has happened since then. Right, so let's start this video with a quick throwback to the last video because a lot's changed in the context of where I am is probably quite important. I do have a notebook with me today because there is quite a lot to get through and hopefully I can try and make some sense of my thoughts. So the last video, it was uploaded in January 2022, I think, so just over 2 years ago. I was an internal communications officer at the time, working in the Volkswagen Group. I had a company car and I was still living at home. And that job, even though it wasn't the dream of becoming a car journalist, I was still pretty happy with because it meant I was in the industry and it was something I'd probably be able to move from to a car journalist role if I so desired. In that video, the only thing I kind of commented on that I wasn't happy with my life was the fact that I was living at home still. So, did that change? Well, yes. About 2 months after I uploaded that video, I did move, and that's because the job had gone from being pretty much fully remote to having the requirement to be in the office 3 days a week. Obviously, the commute from where I was living to Milton Keynes wasn't going to be realistic for that many times a week, so I thought moving was the best plan. Unfortunately, though, that meant moving to Milton Keynes, and pretty much as soon as I moved there, I instantly regretted the decision. So why did I regret the decision? Well, for anybody who's been to Milton Keynes, they can probably guess where I'm going with this, but if you've not, it's just a very strange place to live. It's not really what I'm used to, and compared to everywhere else in the country, it's pretty unique. Now, some people like that uniqueness, but for me personally, it's just not the sort of place I could see myself living. There wasn't much to do there if you didn't have a family. And basically, I just felt isolated, and every weekend I was trying to escape. So I'd get the train up to Manchester, which is where my brother lived, pretty much every other weekend, which was just a bit ridiculous. I was also in a house share, which wasn't really doing it for me. Now, when I moved to Milton Keynes, I originally had a 6-month tenancy agreement, and I pretty much immediately decided that by the time that tenancy agreement was up, I wanted to be in a position where I could hand my notice in at both my job and my house share and move to somewhere else that I would find more satisfying, and also to a job that potentially ticked a few more of the boxes that I was looking for in a role. Don't get me wrong, I did like the job I had at the time, but I was kind of looking for something that involved a little bit more video work and a little bit more social media work. So because of that, I decided that I was going to start uploading shorts to TikTok, which I did, and the sole purpose of me uploading them really was to be able to go into a job interview and prove to the people I was talking to that I could upload good content, analyse its performance and make improvements based upon that. And sure enough, after a sort of few months, I did find a job, and that led to me moving to Birmingham in November 2022. Just for clarity's sake, this isn't Birmingham, it's far too pretty. So when I was in Birmingham, it was a bit of I could sort of breathe a sigh of relief, hopefully, because I'd managed to move out of Milton Keynes that I hated and be a little bit closer to home and be in a city that felt a little bit more vibrant and like there was some stuff going on. I was also quite excited about the job. It was a departure from the car industry slightly, which later on turned out to be a bit of an issue. But it was another job, it got me slightly more money, and importantly, I could have a flat to myself, or I could afford to rent a flat to myself, which was good because a house share really wasn't doing it for me. And once I was settled in Birmingham, the plan was to sort of really try and start doing some car content again. So as mentioned, I started doing the shorts when I was in Milton Keynes. They had kind of gone okay for me, so the plan originally in Birmingham was to carry on with the shorts and then eventually try and do some more long sort of videos for YouTube, because long videos are basically what I enjoyed doing. Unfortunately though, this did not work at all. And the reasons for that, well, there's a few reasons really, but mainly it's because my attitude to producing videos had kind of gone completely south. It just wasn't the correct attitude. You see, originally when I'd done the shorts, like I have previously mentioned, the whole point was to upload them, analyse them and improve them. So therefore the only thing I really cared about was the engagement. And anybody who does anything to do with content creation or does anything that involves a number, you know that when you start chasing the number, it just becomes a bit of a, exhausting exercise, because the whole rest of it is kind of ruined because all you care about is this number. And essentially I was uploading these short videos, I wasn't really loving doing them, and I was just doing them to see what the numbers were going to be. And when the numbers were disappointing, it was reflecting in my mood, which is obviously a very bad way to live. So what happened then? Well, basically, after I came to that conclusion, I was like, right, I'm going to stop doing them because it's ridiculous. I'm forcing myself to do them and I'm not enjoying it. And yeah, that was kind of that. So I think it was about July of last year, I stopped doing them. And unfortunately, alongside that, there were a few other things that kind of happened that kind of made me have a really big wobble. So I'd moved to Milton Keynes and I was commuting to and from work there. I was then moved to Birmingham and I was commuting to and from work from South Birmingham to North Birmingham, which wasn't ideal. I was also driving this car that I'm in now because my company car had gone back. And unfortunately, this car, as much as I love it for what it is, it's just not a very sort of sporty or fun car to drive. So alongside all of those tedious miles I was doing in a car that wasn't really built to be fun, I'd just basically fallen out of love with driving. I'd fallen out of love with creating content, and because of those two things, I'd kind of just fallen out of love with cars altogether, really. And the other side of that is that my job, not being related to the car industry, sort of really spun me into a bit of a tricky situation, because I'd kind of gone from a place where I felt I could achieve my dream eventually to a point where I felt my dream was just miles and miles away and that I was never going to be anywhere near it. So the back half of last year was really difficult. I just wasn't feeling happy, I wasn't feeling fulfilled, and I had to try and do something. That was probably quite a dramatic way to word it, but last year was quite difficult for me. But fortunately, I've got a very supportive partner and family around me, and I did always maintain some hope that eventually I'd figure it out and something would just click and I'd feel much better again. And essentially that's what happened. I just need to give myself some time, really. And eventually the love of cars came back. I started to take more interest in them again, and that was a bit of a relief because I'd properly scared myself that I'd lost the thing that I'd been passionate about for all these years. And yeah, I just sort of took some time to reflect, really. One of the big things I did have to accept was that I had to start again from scratch. The issue that I kind of had with a lot of this stuff was that because I'd uploaded and I thought I was doing well for so long, and then I stopped suddenly, I think it was the start of 2020 in fact, I kind of felt like I should just be able to pick it up again and run with it and it'd be absolutely fine, and it's like nothing had ever stopped. But that's not how it works. Obviously things are different, but it took me a long time to accept the fact that I had to just say, okay, I've done all that, I can be proud of it, but from now on I need to treat it like I'm starting again from scratch. And that was a big thing for me. I also had to realise that the sort of short form content I've been trying to do was a bit of a false fallacy, I think that's the term, and it was trying to fill a void that it was never going to be able to fill. The biggest thing that I've realised, that's why I'm now here talking to a camera again, sat in a car in beautiful Derbyshire Dales, is that the reason I started doing all of this stuff all those years ago was because I just wanted to make the best car videos I could. I didn't care about the numbers, I didn't care about what was attached to it. Obviously there's a little bit of a carrot there going, oh, I can be a car YouTuber, oh, I can do this, there might be a little bit of money in it at the end. But that wasn't the main thing. I just wanted to make the best videos I could, and I felt so passionate about it, and I felt the most fulfilled I've ever felt in my life when I was doing that. I remember one of the videos, nobody's going to care, but I'd go out in the evening on one day to film some of it, I'd film some of it the next day, I'd film some of it the day after that, and then I'd go back to Derby and get my mate to come out and film some stuff on roads like this. And it wasn't because I thought, oh, I'm going to make more money out of it, it's just because I wanted to make the best video I could. And remembering that fact is why I now feel confident in saying that I am going to be doing car videos again, because like I say, I felt the most fulfilled I ever did whilst doing those videos, and I just need to get back to that. I think I'm there now. The numbers, I just don't care. I just want to be making car videos I'm proud of again, because that is why I started the whole process. There are a few other little factors at play though that are probably worth mentioning. So the job I've got now, it's kind of been a bit of an ongoing battle, to be honest, to get my attitude to that correct as well. So I finally feel like I'm just about getting there with that. And also moving to Birmingham, as much as I've enjoyed it and as much as it's been good for me, it's still quite an isolating existence living on your own in a city that's reasonably far away from anybody you care about. But now, as I sit here speaking to you, I am waiting to complete on a house, which is a major achievement. And hopefully once I'm in there, I'll be able to be in a much better position to do this on a more frequent and more regular basis, and just get into the groove of things and feel better in here. Because honestly, in here is a proper war zone at times. And yeah, I'm my own worst enemy, and I've said it for years and years, but I finally feel like I'm in a position where I'm accepting that fact, and I'm now starting to try and get better in myself, and that's just going to make everything I do in my life a little bit easier, hopefully. Now, I'm aware I'm rambling quite a lot here, but it's the first time I've done this for a long time, so bear with me. But I do have a plan that's hopefully going to help me achieve my dream of becoming a car something in future. So what's the plan? Well, the first bit's already happened. I've kind of found my love for cars again. I found my love for content creation again. And that's why I have been uploading short form content on a few platforms. And that's kind of just been me trying to get back into the swing of things and get used to doing bits and pieces. The second phase of the plan is underway. This is the second phase. The second phase of the plan is to start filming some videos, some longer videos, to get me back into the swing of doing these. And I really want to, before I move into my house, to have filmed 5 videos and have them ready to go in the background, so that I'm giving myself the best sort of chance possible to be able to carry on going with some decent momentum. So after that, the sort of plan is really just to see how we go. But yeah, I think it's safe to say that the journey to becoming a car something is back on. And that is something that I'm very excited about. It's been a long journey to get to this point where I feel like I know what I'm going to do, I know how I'm going to get there. But yeah, I feel like I'm finally in that position. And it's good. It's a relief. I won't lie, it's been difficult, and I've really struggled. I've really struggled with certain aspects. As much as I was proud of everything I achieved, I felt like I'd given up, or I felt like I'd failed, and I was kind of beating myself up, to be honest, because that was my dream, and I kind of got halfway there, or a bit of the way there, and just let it go. And even now I'm feeling emotional talking about it. That's a hard pill to swallow, and I've really struggled to get to a position where I've accepted that that's the past and that I just need to start again. I've done it once, I've achieved things once, I can achieve those things again, and that's kind of what I'm hoping will happen. Now I'm back talking to you now, hopefully not swelling up too obviously. So just quickly to recap then, in the last video I was in Milton Keynes. I was an internal communications officer within the automotive industry space, but unfortunately moving to Milton Keynes ruined that one for me, and I had to get another job so I could move to a different city. So I got another job. I haven't mentioned it yet, but I'm a communications executive, and I'm based in Birmingham. Alongside being in Birmingham, no, not alongside, but whilst in Birmingham, I wanted to do some car videos. Unfortunately, that didn't work out, and unfortunately, the Birmingham move didn't work out quite as well as I first hoped. But it's okay, because the solution there is to move again. So I'm moving to the other side of Birmingham now, and after reflecting, I feel like I'm in a position where I know what I'm going to do, and I'm happy about all that, and I'm ready to go. So yes, I think that's everything. The notebook has been exhausted. I've probably rambled, and editing this is going to be a nightmare. But basically, it's been a long journey, but I'm ready to go. The journey to becoming a car something is back on. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.